Here we are, another episode of If It Be Your Will podcast. I have Maria from Maita coming in to talk to us about her amazing music. A new record, Want, just came out in July, and we're going to touch on that. And she's usually from Portland, but is in Nashville right now, which is cool because we just had a friend on from Nashville, Phones with Chords, who shared some Nashville stories. Maria, no Nashville stories. We're just going to talk about your music and where you're from. But could you tell us, you're coming in from Nashville. You kind of tell me, but what are you doing there? Because it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm just here for Americana Fest, and the label that I'm on, Fluff and Gravy, has a lot of more like what is thought of as like traditional Americana music, which I think is a broad genre. But I was invited to come out and play one of the sets at the Fluff and Gravy showcase, so I'm going to do that and
Amazing.
hang out and see some music and hang out with some friends.
Excellent. Sounds like a good time. Well, thanks for carving out a little window here for us to kind of connect with you and talk with you a little bit. I always love asking these kind of foundation questions at the start because it lays a nice path forward. Where was your music journey? Where did it start, Maria? Like, I know that you come from your mom is Japanese?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my
And your
mom's
dad?
Japanese. My
Yep.
dad's he grew up in Colorado, and he's
Right.
just like a standard white mutt of of the kind we have. And we
Right.
I grew up in Eugene, Oregon. Played a little bit of music growing up. I learned violin at a young age. That was my instrument. And eventually I fell in love with songwriting and switched to guitar because that was just so much easier for being able to play and sing at the same time. And started listening to a lot of like indie folk bands around the time that I was in high school that inspired me to write songs of my own. And I just started in the open mic circuit, started playing little shows, started doing little tours. Yeah. Yes.
That's cool.
And then got
That's
together
cool.
with a band.
And like your last record, I mean, most of your records have full bands, right? Like I found something though from way back 2017, was it? Which was very acousticy, very singer-songwriting, as you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah. That is our first EP. I'm guessing you're thinking of the Water Bearer EP.
Yes, that's it.
Which
That's
does
it.
have a band on it, but that you're absolutely right. That was way more of a situation where like I had these songs that I played on my acoustic guitar and we tracked that and then we kind of put a band to what I did. Which
Nice.
is like there are drums and other instruments on that record, but you're right in that it is like a singer-songwriter record.
Yeah.
In the
Oh, it's
traditional
really
sense.
beautiful. Yeah,
Thank
really
you.
beautiful. I listened to it about 2 times through, and it's just it hits all those beautiful notes of the singer-songwriter indie folk. Like it's just there. Your
That makes
songwriting is
sense.
really powerful. Like, and I've really enjoyed how I kind of started at your first stuff and kind of worked my way through up until Want, which came out, just this year. And what do you find, like, if you look at that catalog and your kind of journey and you have all these archives now, what is it that you find that you've learned the most about songwriting and yourself over that trajectory of all these records that you've been putting out since, 2017, 16, etc.?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Well, I've learned a lot about economy and like, I don't know, in the first record I use a lot of words and I say
Right.
a lot and I kind of the gymnastics of lyricism that was like one of my favorite exercises as a songwriter is to be like, how can I string together a bunch of poetic words to tell a big story, like kind of with like quantity more than anything else, an elaborate dance almost. And as I've gotten older, I've recognized the value in being able to say more with less words and use, you know, play with using things that are more like direct and to the point, and then like balancing that with the figurative language, like metaphor and simile and things that aren't quite so easy to understand. Like I love kind of like a esoteric verse with like a straight to the heart chorus. And I like the
Right.
push pull of that. Um,
Right.
so I
Right.
guess I've learned a lot. A lot has changed about the way I write songs, but a lot has stayed the same. Like my goal as a songwriter is the same. It's to like
Mm.
get through this like emotional arc and create something that is intense. I think I really do like to create music that is in some way intense and hits hard.
Mm-hmm.
What even if it's very soft. Um, I don't know. Sometimes I listen to some of my old stuff and could I even write like this anymore? Like I'm
Right.
like, do I need to learn
Right.
how to do this again? Like, do I need to like kind of, I don't know, teach myself how
Yeah.
to, because you change as a person. And
Absolutely.
it's not
Yeah.
always like, it's not like a growth thing necessarily. Like you change. And then there are things that I kind of miss about how I used to write songs as well.
Mm-hmm. When you listen to an old song, does it bring, like our sensories always get connected to points in time in our experience in our lives?
Mm-hmm.
When you listen to your old songs, does it bring back things that you had forgotten about, or feelings or situations that you were like, oh yeah, I remember this now? Like, do your songs trigger things in your sensories?
Totally, especially if I get a break from them. I think what happens
Hmm.
sometimes is when you listen to something over and over again, it ceases to like have a impact in a certain way. And then if I get
Mm-hmm.
space from it and I revisit it, then I'm like, oh yeah. Which is probably what would happen with that EP that you mentioned. I have not listened to that in years. And so if I
Yeah.
was to put that on front to back, I would definitely be transported to like 2017 me, you know.
Right. Yeah. 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 That's pretty cool. It's great to have these artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your music lives beyond it, but to have something tangible. I was talking to an artist who had released his first LP ever, and he was like holding it when we were talking, and just that thing that he was holding kind of like brought it all to him, like the struggles, the accomplishments, and then having something at the end. But in a way, what he said, which stuck with me, was that, well, in the end, it's a thing. I mean, the record could go, but what I've created is there. It will never go
Mm-hmm.
away. And I felt that that was such a beautiful way to kind of see one's trajectory of their careers in music, in the music they make and write. And um, I wanted to ask you, what is your process? How does a song become something that you say, okay, this has something to it, this one I want to explore more? Like, how does that process evolve? Is it you have a line or a verse that comes to your mind, or is it a melody that starts it?
Uh-huh.
Like, tell us a little bit about your songwriting process over the
Yeah.
years that you've been doing it.
Usually I can't really start writing a song until I feel like I know what the hook of the song, the emotional hook or core of the song is. And
Mm-hmm.
there's usually when I'm writing a song, there's some kind of idea that I feel is unique. And it's just one idea. It's like, I love this. Um, and this is like, I think an idea that speaks to me. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Um, like, oh, like breakup song times three. It was like
Mm-hmm.
one person that I had three breakups with. And I think I was like, I want to explore each of those three acts as like different verses. And I was like, that's the song. And then I'll figure out what else happens in that song. And so like I kind of have like some kind of idea for a song. And then once I figure out that idea, then I can start filling it in. But unless the core is there, I really can't start. Like it's like hard for me
Okay.
to just like sit down and be like, let me just put some words together. Um,
Right. Right.
and I think that for that reason, like I find it really hard to write like a throwaway song or like just like a fun like I I kind of every single song I write in some way, I'm like, this is like I'm writing a single, like I'm writing a song that could stand alone and is powerful on its own. That's my intention, whether or not that happens. But I do think that like it's yeah, I have a really hard time. Maybe it would be good for me, honestly, to have a little bit more freedom with like allowing the song to begin and start writing itself. But
Hmm. Hmm.
I've never been very good at that.
And how did the collection of Want come together? Those songs, how did those? How did you congregate those? Were those songs written over a period of time, or were they,
Mhm.
again, like you said, that does the album have like a single point, or is it
Mhm.
each of the songs that have, or like how did you manifest those songs together?
These songs were all written like back to back. I
Hmm.
tend to like just write a bunch of songs until I have a collection of songs that feels like an album, and then I'm like, this represents this period of my life. I'm going to put it out. And I think what was
Hmm.
cool about Want, which feels unique to it, is that it feels extremely cohesive to me.
Yeah.
The first few records, like if I describe the different songs, like you kind of jump around, like, oh, this one's it's like a murder ballad about the Dust Bowl, and this song is about emotional baggage, and this song is about a childhood friend.
Hmm.
But Want really felt like, I think because there wasn't a lot of external stimuli at the time, it was during COVID. I
Right.
really, just like the kind of things that like circle through your brain when you're like bored, I guess, tend to be like
Hmm.
deep, like for me it's like deep emotions about like relationships and the past and like this. And there was so much desire happening during COVID because we were so removed from all the things that we previously loved. And
Right.
so I ended up feeling like all these songs kind of like pushed and wanted something, and they all circle this idea of desire. And because I was in a relationship during that time, it like made everything within that relationship very intense, which then
Hmm.
also brings up ideas in the past about relationships. And um all the songs, yeah, I felt like they came together in that way.
Yeah. No, I can hear that when I listen through it. And I do agree with you. I think it's a really cohesive set of songs that one helps the other and then helps the other. Like you you couldn't remove one of them. Um,
Hmm.
I love the logic of how you put them together. And the last two songs too, very almost back to your roots a little bit, of a little bit more stripped down and um much more you at the forefront. I mean, you're always at the forefront, but I found that those two in particular, as I was listening through, um, I really enjoyed those last two because they
Yeah,
felt like something that you're revisiting almost from a
that's cool.
time.
Yeah, I know that I think it is this, is it the second to the last one that's the acoustic one without any drums or
Yeah,
anything on it? Yeah,
that's it.
that one was definitely like we tracked that one with a band, and kind of just I like realized that I liked my voice memo on my phone better than what we did with the band, and that's just how it was written. And
Yeah.
I guess when we were tracking this album and mixing it, we were feeling like this is a really intense record. Like sonically, I just feel like the audience is going to need a little bit of a break, or they might get tired. And and so it was a very conscious decision to be like, this song I think should just stay as it is and allow people to get a moment to like feel grounded. And you're right, it
Mhm.
does kind of harken back to this time when I wrote songs that were just in my bedroom and
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
open mic.
And
Yeah.
Maria, have you always kind of had like a lot of control over your music? I know that you were with Kill Rock Stars for
Hmm.
signing, and this latest record is on another label.
Yeah.
What's the label? You said it
Fluff
before.
and, fluff and gravy.
Fluff and Gravy, right?
Yeah.
Do do you still maintain like the end word into your art form and your craft? Like, have you always kept that kind of like, and even your video making? Like, I was looking at some of your videos, and it looks like your voice is heard in there anyway, of
Hmm.
like what gets seen and how you present yourself. Like, what does that mean to you, keeping that kind of creative control over what you produce?
I mean, I think it's at times, it's like, there are definitely times when especially for music videos, where I just wish someone would take over. And that part is definitely more of like a means to an end. I mean, I'm grateful,
Right.
and I do like making videos. I've always liked making videos. So it's a good
Mm.
outlet for me, not one that I always have the time and energy to necessarily do. Um,
Right.
but basically, like, we have always been on small indie labels, and we've never
Mm.
had like a very robust music video budget. And so you kind of need, it's it's great to have a music video for every song, just in our day and age with
Yeah.
advertisement, to have something visual. And
Hmm.
so basically we would release, it's so funny how it works, because we're asked to release like 3 singles or 4 singles, and then every video is supposed to have, or every single is supposed to have a video, but there's not actually the budget for that. And so then
Right.
you have to make DIY music videos, and
Mm.
so that responsibility just fell on me, and I just had to make the most of it, which is why you see so much of me and just me in all those videos. It's not like because I need to have control. It's just because like nobody else was going to do it, you know?
Right, right. Do you
Yeah,
like that, or would you like to like kind of, you were mentioning like offloading, that would be not a bad thing if
I
there
would,
was
I
funding
would
for
not
it?
mind. I would not mind.
Right.
I mean, one a good example is like the last round for, I Just Want to Be Wild for You. We had a music video for, Where Do You Go? That was like the one where like I'm barely in it. There's like other actors, there's like
Mm.
monsters and puppets, and like that was
Right.
like a friend of mine's vision.
Mm.
And he was willing, he wanted it to be part of his like resume of music videos. So he was like, pay me whatever you can, but I'm gonna go out of pocket and just do the best that I like, make it as, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do
Right.
with the rest of it. And I was like, okay, that's very kind. Let's try it. It was so
Mm.
cool to just have someone else, because I love creativity, and I love
Hmm.
the idea that someone else's creative brain has an opportunity to flourish. And I love to
Yeah.
see what other people are coming up with, because I kind of get sick of my own ideas, like
Well, it's cool
I
too. They
love.
get a
Mhm,
beautiful prompt too of a song, and
mhm.
you're leaving it to them to interpret. Like,
It's so
what's your
cool.
vision? How do you see this? Like, did they
It's
always turn out like?
so
Did they
cool.
always surprise you? Like what the end game becomes, the visual. When you kind of are able to let somebody else take that lead.
Sometimes they do, yeah. And like sometimes when they're with that one, I really relinquished control, and because I was just like, you're footing the bill, it's your vision. Let's go
Mm.
for it. At
Mm.
other, like, and it was a story that so didn't involve me that I was able
Mm.
to kind of like let go on that one. Like I'm not even lip syncing it. I don't have to do any of that. Um,
Mm.
and it was so fun because he like gave me a call time and when I had to be there, and he had a crew, and it was just like, whoa, there's a whole production happening. And
Oh.
it's about this song, but it's also just not about me at all. And that was awesome. Um,
That's cool.
yeah,
Mm.
but with the album, obviously it's very different. I do have like maintain the final word, and I want that control. And me and myself and Matthew Zeltzer like co-produced all these
Okay.
records, and um, we've worked really well together to kind of craft the sound of these songs. At the end of the day, like they are my songs, and I come in and I have an
Hmm.
idea, but I do love to get other people's brains in on it, because I can't do everything. Like
Right.
our drummer's incredible, Cooper Trail. I can't write those parts. And Nevada Soul, our bass player, and like he plays with so many other instruments, and he has such great sensibilities. Like I um, I trust everyone. And
Right.
so even though I do want to maintain this control, I feel very comfortable with like letting other people explore their ideas too.
Amazing. That's really cool. And Maria, what have been some tipping points for you in this career that you've started, like where things changed or
Hmm.
amped up or were
Hmm.
on pause? Like, do you have some of those recollections of those tipping points in your career so far?
Totally. I think for me, one of the big tipping points is that there was a time when you'd play these shows and you would beg, not beg, but you're expected to promote shows, and like every single person who came to your show was invited personally. Like you have to text all your friends
Mm.
and say, please come to my show. I hope you could make it. Like it's happening, like individually, like try to like get that support from people. And everyone has to do that at the beginning.
Hmm.
And I think for me, the big tipping point, which I don't think if this hadn't happened, I wouldn't have continued to do it just because I hate asking for things and I hate pressuring people. And I also feel like at a certain point, there has to be this change where you kind of stop asking people to come to your shows because they want to be there on their own. Like they're like, oh, I can't miss that show. That's like the
Cool.
change. And
Yeah.
that was for me a really important switch that happened. Whereas like you advertise your shows so that everyone knows about it, and the people who want to be there are gonna be there. And
Hmm.
there's, I think that was really cool. That change.
That's really, really cool. I love that idea. I never thought about
Mhm.
that. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and at a certain point, it's like if you have to beg people and chase them down to come, then it's like, what are you? I don't know. I feel like at that point, I would probably be like, I should probably figure out something else that I can offer to the world that people need in their lives because they clearly don't need this or want this,
Right. Well, I'm glad
Mhm.
that happened because the production that's come out of you is just really, really sensational. You do some of the things that I love in a song, and it's hard to describe, but it's like this tumbling a little bit in your
Mm.
verse, and then the
Hmm.
chorus comes in and kicks in and just like scoops you up and cradles you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's so hard to describe in words the feelings that it brings me through listening to it, but I absolutely love your lyrical play. It just it just
Yeah.
it's so cool. And I can tell that it's all very precise, like every word has been thought about. Because it has to fit, right? It's like a puzzle almost how it kind of comes out. Um,
Totally. Yeah. And you're right. That is my favorite. I love a build. Like I love like
yeah.
a build that ramps up in intensity and then breaks. And then there's this, yeah, you're right. Of course. That's like I won't say it's my signature because I think a lot of songs like that, but
Mhm.
I can't like not do that, I guess. And I think a
Good.
lot of
Don't
that
stop.
comes from playing, and a lot of that comes from like playing solo for so long at the beginning and being
Right.
slightly insecure because I think I was like I felt too insecure to just write a simple song without like a climactic moment
Right.
that like
Right.
builds in it because I'm like people aren't going to want to just listen to a simple song like I'm not good enough for that. I need to like disguise it and make it like sound really intense. And so I think naturally needed to inject that into every song.
Yeah. Just to kind of wrap things up again, Maria, thanks so much. It's been like some of your words have been really fascinating to listen to, and a lot of reflection thinking about the things you had
Mm-hmm.
said. Um, you've had a bit of distance since the record um, came out in July. What has been your impression of since the release? How do you feel people have taken the record, and having that distance as well? How do you feel about what you created and is out there in the world now?
Well, we did something a little different on this round. Usually in the past, whenever I've released a record, I kind of go on tour right after the record is out. And so
Mm,
that is really when you get to kind of learn what the record's about. I think like so much happens on social media, but I don't really relate. That's not really where I connect with people. And it's really at live shows when I start to kind of understand what the song and the album really does for people and for myself. Um, and this time around, we booked all of our album release shows, like partially because our album came out in the summer and we just didn't really want to like interrupt all the festival season and just because we
right,
were really busy. But I
right.
also really wanted to give audiences a chance to know the record before we played it for them because I think it's so exciting to see a band and
Mm-hmm.
know the songs already and just already have a relationship with the music. And so we
Yeah.
haven't even done our album release touring yet. That's all happening in October. And
Wow.
I think in that way, I feel a little bit like almost like it was like anti anticlimactic like the
Mm,
release because I'm like now what, but I think it's all still about to come, my feelings
right.
about it and like what
Okay.
everyone's feelings are. Yeah.
I love that though. That you get to learn what the record is through performing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
again, a
definitely.
really cool observation there, Maria. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so 2024, you guys are headed on the road in October. And what else can you share with us about what's coming down the road for Maita?
Yeah. So I think in 2024, like we have some October dates, some December dates, all kind of around the West Coast. And then of the US, because you're in Canada, yeah. But, yeah. So and then in 2025, I think we're just gonna keep on doing a lot of little runs. Like we're gonna get down to California. We want to get over to Colorado. And potentially just play festivals in the summer. Hopefully we'll make it up to Canada sometime. That'd be awesome.
Cool. That'd be amazing. I'll be there.
All right.
And
cool.
I imagine you're still continuing writing, and like that just never stops, right? It
does not stop. I mean, I definitely go through dry spells. Often those spells happen after you release a record, because you're like, okay, that chapter's closed. What's the next chapter? But but I have a lot to write about, and I just need to find the time to do that. And I have ideas, a lot of ideas.
Cool. Well, we look forward to hearing more. And congratulations on this release. I mean, it is really, I'm going to listen to it again after this, because it's got me now. I'm in the cycle, maybe a couple more times today. So thanks for putting that out. It's really strong songwriting.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed it. And we'll throw on Breakup Song ×3 at the end of this, so people don't go away, because we'll stop talking, but Maria will start singing. And have a great tour. And I hope to talk to you again one day.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was lovely chatting with you.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Radio silence rushing from the independent, ordered your least favorite and ate it with abandon. Walked the streets of San Francisco, wondering how to love a city by myself. Every place it had your smell. On the phone I tried so hard, used the waning breath of everything we were and could have been, to tell you, come and get your shit after your body